Hello, Nadia.
Hello.
How are you? It looks sunny over where you are again, which is interesting, being that you're in Boston, and I hear that there is a cold front on the East Coast.
It's sunny, but it's definitely not warm. I'd say it's probably the warmest it's been in a long time, and that is 37 degrees. But yeah, there was a cold, whatever they call it, cold front last weekend.
You're okay.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk to you about something today that is kind of like wow, wow, hard news to take,
Mhm.
especially maybe for you, even for me, which is that I don't know if you know about this, but recently a lot of people have been talking about the connection between alcohol consumption and cancer. Have
Mhm.
you heard about that at all?
I haven't. I would assume that people my age tend to not want to read things like that. So I haven't seen it. And granted, I do get a lot of my like news, I guess, or new headlines, whatever, on social media. So I haven't heard about that until today.
Speaking of which, I want to sidetrack for a second. Since the last time I talked to you, we lost TikTok for a day.
We lost it for 12 hours.
Okay. Did you get panicky?
I did, but it all just feels like it just feels really silly. I don't know. There's a lot of things like, I don't know. I mean, ugh,
It's okay. It's
I'm
okay.
so
We talked
biased
too
because
we
I'm
talked too
so
much about
biased
social
because
media.
I know, but I'm so biased because I get all my news about social media from social media. I don't
Mhm.
consume it in any other way. So I know it was just really silly. But yes, I have not heard about that on TikTok, even in the new TikTok. But
Well, I would like to report that I've been on an Instagram detox, Facebook detox for a week now, and I feel pretty good.
I don't know. I feel like you're better at it than I am. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
think I could.
you have to want it. Anyway, back to the original topic, which is actually a topic that I ironically learned about on Instagram, which was there was a recent guideline published talking about the risks of alcohol being connected to an increased risk of 7 different types of cancers.
Mhm.
And I was reading that 20,000 alcohol-related cancer deaths happen per year in the United States. So 20,000 alcohol-related cancer deaths. That's like I can't do the quick math. Let's just pretend that's 24,000. That's like 2,000 per month. That's like 500 a week,
Right.
like 50 to
And
100 people a
is
day.
it all types of cancers? Or is it like just I
Certain
mean, I guess you didn't
cancers.
say which cancers were listed, but
Right. Certain cancers. Now, this is not my area of expertise, but I did a little bit of looking into it for a moment because we all know that like alcohol isn't like the best thing for you. But I'm
right.
like, how serious is this advice about how it could potentially cause cancer? And that statistic, 20,000 alcohol related cancer deaths per year, sounds pretty like a lot. And
Mhm.
I think it's particularly like even more so for women because it's connected to breast cancer, potentially an increase of 10% risk of breast cancer with people who consume alcohol versus not. Again, not my area of expertise, right? I'm not here to share, like, go over this guideline with
Yeah.
you off the top of my head because this is not like my area. But what I'm curious about is how that makes you feel about consuming alcohol because there are other things that we might hear about that could potentially cause cancer. And we're like, okay, I guess I'll stop using that.
Yeah. Well, I feel
But
like this is under the term like carcinogens, correct? I'm using that term
mhm,
correctly. I feel like we learn a lot about like other carcinogens and we tend to forget about alcohol or to choose to forget about this one. Because for people that do consume it, it's sometimes harder to get rid of that out of your daily life. But I guess like in the same way like that people stop drinking caffeine or like coffee, soda, like that kind of stuff. I don't know. It is possible to like take that out of your life, but sometimes especially in college like it's unfortunately part of the lifestyle. So it would take a lot of what's the word, like mental strength, I guess, to do that. And also, I mean, this is like not this is not a good thing, but I feel like sometimes cancer feels like something that would affect you like way later in life. And so most times like college students don't take it very seriously unless it like has personally affected them or someone that they know that they're someone that they're close with. So I don't know.
I mean, you know that I think the age of people being diagnosed with cancer is getting younger and younger.
Yeah, I mean, that's not, unfortunately, again, that's not surprising. We're just like exposed to so many different like chemicals and
Mhm.
everything we eat and drink and just like use in our everyday life. So unfortunately, that's not super surprising. And then especially I learned about like this kind of stuff in my public health classes. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
unfortunate.
I think the thing too is like what's rough is that people enjoy the effects of alcohol.
Right.
And so there are some things that maybe you can remove, right? Like you're like, okay, I'm going to make an effort to remove plastics from the containers that I use to store my food. And that's easier to do, even though it costs money because you're like, it's not like I was enjoying those
Right.
chemicals in the plastics. I'm
Mhm.
fine. I'll just go like maybe get a glassware, which is slightly more heavy and slightly more expensive, but it's not like, oh my God, I'm really going to miss my plastic,
Right.
right? But alcohol is tied in so much to our culture
Right.
that it's hard to cut it away.
Yeah.
That's not to say that everybody drinks. Like there's a lot of younger people
Yeah.
that don't drink, but
Mhm.
for those that do and have experienced how much fun it can be, it's hard to take that fun away.
I feel like it's that like tied into like the chemical parts of like how alcohol is interacts with parts of your brain. I've learned about it, but I don't know it like off the top of my head. But it's not like when you use plastics, it's not like stimulating like parts in your like it doesn't affect your the
Mood?
chemicals in your brain. Yeah, the mood, like dopamine or whatever. I don't know actually. I can't say the words because I'm just guessing. But yeah, like alcohol definitely affects parts of your brain, whereas like using plastic is kind of just like an action or like
Mhm.
taking a shorter shower. Not
Mhm.
that that affects cancer, but that's like an environmental thing, you know?
Yeah, and so there are other things that it's kind of like, "Oh, that's cancer producing, I'm gonna, like, avoid that." But
Right.
actually, I think, like I don't know. Anyway, I can't go on and on about carcinogens. Again, not my area of expertise, but that publication like hit me. I'm like, oh, should I cut out alcohol from my life?
Right.
And you know what actually makes it a little bit easier? There's all this advertising for mocktails and
Mhm.
non-alcoholic elixirs that are supposed to like
Yeah.
enhance your mood. Have you ever tried anything like that?
No, I mean, like a mocktail as in a juice I've had, but like not like the elixir stuff that you're talking about.
Yeah. Have you seen that on your social media where it's like, "Try this drink. It contains"
No, I will not the elixirs, but like maybe more so like alcohol, like companies that make alcoholic drinks or seltzers specifically making non-alcoholic seltzers.
Mhm.
In that way, yes, but not like I don't know whatever you're talking about.
Yeah, and then I just went to a bar on Wednesday, and they
Mhm.
had, like, a full page dedicated to these delicious sounding mocktails. I mean, that is part of the fun about when you have a little bit of money to spend and you go to
Mhm.
a cocktail bar, the cool concoctions that they'll make with like smoked herbs and like there it's like wonderful scents for your nose and like textures for
Mhm.
your mouth and it looks beautiful. And so that
Yeah.
whole experience can still be had without the alcohol.
Yeah, it's just hard, like, for college students that, one, like, don't haven't heard about what we're talking about right now into like you're not going out and getting a smoked herb cocktail or like wanting that. So like a smoked herb mocktail is not something that's like in the equation. I don't know.
I had
But
this delicious
yeah.
drink when I was in Washington
Mhm.
yesterday. It was like whiskey with like a dehydrated orange and one of those king cubes and some kind of citrus flavoring to it. And then he took a rosemary thing and he like lit it, and
Yeah.
it was so amazing.
Yeah. I mean,
And
that's the experience for you.
it's an
Like I don't get
experience
that experience
at
now.
your
Like
that's not
no.
happening at the frat parties.
No, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like in general, like the drink, we all, it's just hard. We all know like alcohol is not necessarily good for you. Like apart from the cancer stuff, like affects your liver and honestly a lot of different things, your mental health, your like skin, everything. So it's hard to like add one more thing on because people already ignore all the other bad things, you know?
Mhm.
So I don't
It's
know.
not hard to add it on. It's like adding it on. Like you should have already been warned
Yeah,
from
exactly.
other stuff.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I want to share this with you as
Mhm,
something to have in your mind when you're making a choice about drinking. On the
mhm,
other side of that, I learned something new this weekend. So I was in Washington
mm,
doing an emergency first responder course, right? And this is emergency response for athletes specifically, because
mhm,
I'm a sports specialist, right? And I'm supposed to be able to have the skills to be out on the field. And we are talking about the effects of heat and dehydration on athletes.
mhm.
And I don't know why I had never heard of liquid IV, but somebody brought
Oh,
that up
yeah.
about how people use liquid IV. And I thought, oh my gosh, is that just like a wonderful electrolyte drink? It sounds so healthy, liquid IV, like an IV,
Yeah.
like an intravenous, like something
Mhm.
should be
Yeah,
good for you or whatever. But actually, it's full of sugar.
yeah. I mean, this isn't like your what you were talking about earlier, like an alcoholic, non-alcoholic, like elixir, but they advertise it as something that's like for that will help you prevent hangovers or just like keep you hydrated without having to drink regular water. I don't know. I do not like them because it tastes like sugar and like in even like more strengthened way than like maybe like a Gatorade would taste.
Oh,
Like
wow.
it's just like super sugar. Like sometimes in the times that I've had one, I used only like half of a packet, like the whole packet that they get. Because it like I don't know, it just like doesn't taste good to me. And like I think a lot of people drink them regularly if they don't like the taste of water, but, I like the taste of water. I don't
I
know.
feel
It's just, like,
like
a weird
liking the
thing.
taste of water should be something that happens when you're a child or something, because like
Yeah.
if you don't like the taste of water, wow, that's really rough, because water's
Yeah.
pretty essential.
I mean, that's like Lucy, my sister. She doesn't like I mean, she used to not like drinking water, so, like, in that way, maybe something that tastes like juice but is water is, like, good and better than, like, just putting in, like, a Kool-Aid packet, you know? But it's super sugary, and I haven't really seen the benefits of it, but with that
It
being
doesn't help
said,
you with hangovers.
I mean, maybe in the sense that I'm drinking water, like, I don't know, but I do often not like, they're kind of expensive, but I do often have, like, emergency packets. Not that that's the same thing, but it has a similar like, it's a similar idea, similar taste, but less sugary and more for like immune support and not for hangovers. But I
Mhm.
do like maybe I wouldn't say I enjoy them, but I do have them often. I think I've just gotten used to the taste, whereas like liquid IVs, like I haven't.
How
Have
manipulative
some
is
with
that?
me. Yeah.
To call something liquid IV? I mean, clearly when you go to the doctor because you're dehydrated or the hospital because you're dehydrated and they give you fluids through
Yeah.
an IV, they're not injecting whatever's inside
Sugar.
that sugar
Yeah.
packet.
I mean, like when we were in Tahoe, did you see they have like those little like cars And they have it's like a liquid
Mhm,
IV, like,
mhm.
station, and people can go in and I don't know if they drink too much, whatever, or they're just tired, you can get, like, a liquid IV, like, treatment. I have no clue what that's like, but I don't know. They are very much banking on attracting people who drink and are hungover, but I don't really know if there's any, like, actual nutritional or physical benefits to it apart from you're drinking water and it suddenly tastes different.
I mean, getting fluid sounds like a great idea, but I would not necessarily trust the cleanliness of some random little bus, like taco truck or whatever, that
Yeah,
happened to have like an IV station that is
right.
specifically marketed to people that are trying to not be feeling
It's
hungover.
yeah,
That just
it's
sounds
one
like a
thing
bad idea.
it's one thing to, like, have that, and it's another thing to have, like, an actual, like, nurses, like, trailer, like, a car with nurses in it that have, like,
Maybe they
actual,
have
like,
nurses it though.
vets.
Maybe those are the people working in
I
there are
don't think
nurses.
I'm
You have to
I
have
think
some
so.
sort of certification
I
to
don't think
cure
there's
someone's
anyone in
skin.
there. I don't think someone's in there. I think it's like a car that you go in like a little room you go into, kinda the only, like, equivalent I have to it is, like, a lactation room, how they have, like, those in airports, that's just, like, a personal bubble. I think it's like that.
Oh,
Like,
well,
the
then there's
car's so
definitely not a
small.
needle there.
No, it's not like a needle, I think it's just
Oh.
water. Like,
Oh,
I
oh,
think
oh, oh.
or I don't know what it is. Honestly, we should look it up, but the car is not big enough. Like, I wouldn't feel I don't know. Maybe there is a person in it, but it just doesn't feel big enough for that. It's such a small place. I don't would not
There's
feel
also the
comfortable.
maybe you're getting those mixed up with the oxygen things, the oxygen treatments.
Maybe it's that. I don't know. It's kind of colorfully advertised. I feel like it was a liquid. I like maybe like an elect. I don't know. I kind of
Come into our little
I
private
don't
cubicle and drink some
yeah.
Gatorade inside
I want to
this
look it up,
room.
but I don't know. That's kind of silly, but it like it's catches your attention, and you're like, maybe it does help. But yeah, people use it.
Well, I hope, as your mom, I hope you're always making smart choices, balanced choices, knowing what the potential risks are. I mean, there's potential
Right.
risks in all the things that we do.
Mhm.
There's, whatever we're exposed to while we're flying in an airplane and going on the freeway and
Right.
exposing ourselves to gasoline when we pump it in our car and the food that we eat and all the things. There's like dangers
Everything.
everywhere.
Yeah.
But, there's like things add up and then so you just have to kind of like keep a little tally in your head about like how many risky things am I doing versus not, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
Anyway, on that happy note, I hope you have a sober Sunday.
Don't worry. Stay in.
All right, bye.
Bye.